So what I heard you say is that the woman, by using something very physical to penetrate into her cervix and open it, is short-circuiting the process to actually open to the lingam. And so she thinks that she's becoming very independent and taking ownership or control over her pleasure, but she's actually preventing herself from truly opening. And maybe she's making herself vulnerable to the wrong man, to the wrong lingam, or to the wrong circumstance by forcing it physically.
Yeah. Maybe she'll attract a masculine that doesn't want to do much work on her body to open her. That's never a great aspect.
Yeah.
To be making love with. Because that's both of their initiation. For him to want to open her, for him to find the means to open her, even though he feels inept at doing it. That's his feminine. So there's nothing more that he wants than to see her open, even if it makes him a fool on some level to what he's known. Yeah. And there's a few layers. Can I continue?
Yeah.
There's a few layers. So spiritually, she's not training her masculine consciousness to be present with her when she's in her genitals. She kind of has a substitute lingam and thinks that it goes in and pierces or like massages or whatever. But that's not actually where masculine consciousness first originates or first opens. Masculine consciousness opens by placing its awareness on something. That's all it has to do. She doesn't know that. She thinks it's an active movement. So spiritually, she has to learn that her mind is a lingam. It's the lingam. Is the lingam psychic penetrative agent. Before you bring any kind of physical manipulative tool into the equation. And so she's missing that. Emotionally now she's missing, because she's got a crystal wand or something, and there's no one there observing her unveil herself. Of course there's her, but from a masculine perspective, for her to know what she's actually doing. Because you don't know why, she's almost like exerting an unnatural force on herself to open herself. So there's not that meeting herself closed and then unveiling through vulnerability and delicacy and exposure of things that are scary to reveal. That's not there either. So emotionally, she's not getting the masculine experience either.
So what is she to do in order to really open up the cervix? How should a woman think about that or behave in such a way that she's going to be able to open up in the way that she truly wants to?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's to master her mind as a psychic lingam penetrative agent. I'll say that again. To understand that her mind is scattered and that she needs to streamline it into having it be absorbed of every single bit of its focus in looking at her sensation. So it doesn't want the social media, it doesn't want work, it doesn't want friends. She needs to keep like strengthening amounts of time of when her mind can just go deeply into her cervix and stay there. 10 minutes, start with 10 minutes. And she'll see that her mind will continue to come up. It will not consider staying in her cervix a priority. That's step one. And it's a very minimal step, but it will change things. But it's step one on a very unfolding and windy path, but it's step one.
So she's actually taking her mind and using it as a lingam to penetrate her own cervix, and that by putting her awareness on the cervix begins to open in an organic way.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, so we've talked about sensation, like this. She feels the sensation in the cervix, and she watches it very softly with a soft gaze, but still penetrative, no distraction. And then the sensation itself reconfigures, it transmutes, it lightens. Yeah, and that's how the lingam works.